queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the Tuesday Live.
Oh,
wait. I didn't even have... Hold on. Do that again. There we go. I was like, yo, how did I not hear this?
What was that?
Right. So, sorry about the air horns, okay? I don't know what happened. But welcome. Shout out to everybody who's joining us, whether it is live or replay. Okay, we appreciate all of you. And whether you're watching it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, right? We have it in 3 places now.
Wow.
Okay, so do me a favor. If you're watching live, just let us know where you're from so we can, show you some love quick, fast, in a hurry, no matter what platform you're watching this on. And of course, episode 55. Are we 55? 55?
55, yeah.
Yes.
55 came out today. Yeah.
Episode 55 dropped today. All right. So go check that out. We spoke about a lot of great stuff. Some could be on the fence. I think we played that conversation very well. Very well.
Yeah. I mean, it was, it had to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everyone who rocks with the after show because we went a little deeper on that.
Yep.
Just to kind of share some more. But it had to be talked about for sure.
It did. So if you know what we're talking about, put that in the comments. If not, go listen to the episode. But Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, pretty good. It's starting to get dark early now, so it's a little different kind of energy time starting to come in here. I'm like, oh, we wake up when the sun's still down, and it's kind of it's about that time right now. So it's a little weird. So
I struggle with that.
Yeah,
I promise you, I struggle with that.
It's been a minute, yo. Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm like, yeah.
So real quick, Austin, Texas, I see you. Chicago. Harlem. I see you, Harlem.
Hey.
Okay. Oh, 2 people from Harlem. Okay. All right. Didn't even know that. Shout out to Ashley with the I2M. I see you. DC in the building. Philly in the building. Connecticut. Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay.
I like that. Okay.
Say Connecticut. BK.
From New York. I'm not even going to say upstate. From New York. And then now Maryland, Brooklyn. Okay. All right. I see y'all.
I love it.
Anyway, so Moose, what are we talking about today?
Man, so I don't know. I've just been focused on the personal development, the self-development journey, probably more than I have been all year. I was like, I don't know what it is, but I really wanted to kind of bring it back to the foundation of, okay, let's really hone in on you, the individual self, a little bit more than what we normally do. And I know everyone, as part of their routine, as best as we can, or we try to keep something related to our self-development just to keep our mind right and all that. But I've been diving in a little bit more. And the funny thing is, I'm not doing anything active per se, Nick. So I'm really just taking some free time to think. And I'm like, if I've heard a couple videos of people saying, plan your time to do nothing but think. Like, use that time to see what type of ideas you get, to see what your mind is trying to tell you, what you're feeling, the whole nine. So I've been spending time doing that. And the thing that I came across, I'm like, for times that I've been frustrated, I had to ask myself, was I frustrated because I was stuck, or was I still? Now, there's a difference between the two, right?
It's a bar. Hold
Stuck.
on.
Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you
Wait,
just said.
I was not expecting that. Okay, go ahead. My bad. That
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like how to go a little deeper on that, because I'm like, there's a difference between the two. They both may seem like, well, hold up. In both fashions, you're not moving.
Right.
Like whether it's whether you're stuck or you're in stillness. In both of those, you're not moving. But in actuality, one has a physical hold on you. Like you literally feel like you physically feel it. There's a feeling, yeah, emotional feeling, but it's a physical. It's like, yo, I can't move. Like I feel stuck. But stillness, it's more controlled. It's a choice. It's actually more peaceful. There isn't any emotional baggage tied to it or any emotional drainage tied to it. You actually feel more so still. So I wanted to talk about the difference between the two today. And I wanted to start with this feeling of stuck first and foremost, because I feel that most people, when they feel stuck, it's because they feel like they're stagnated. They're not moving. There's no progress. Maybe I'm not where I want to be. Maybe I'm not achieving all that I desire just yet. But at least if I'm on the way there, that makes me feel good. But if I'm not where I want to be and I feel stuck in my position, I'm like, oh, dang, like that starts to make me do all types of craziness.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of discuss that first. And then, of course, I came across a video on ESPN today with Candace Ace that I want to play here in just a couple minutes, because I thought part of the reason we feel stuck, she answers with her approach. So yeah, just again, I'm curious, man. Any times that you felt stuck, what when was that? Open up a little bit, kind of give us some insight into the Nicky journey, real quick.
Oh man, because if I get transparent, I get in trouble. So
No, that's cool. It's cool. Just
he's
keep it
like, no,
about
it's
you.
okay
Keep it
today.
about
It's
you.
okay. It's okay
keep it
today.
about
That's
you. It'll
fine.
be all right.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. It's all right. It's just being broadcast everywhere. Don't worry about it. So I think, without getting too specific, because I don't know who's watching, but I think environment can get you feeling stuck, right? I would have to say, I can open up about this one. When I was in the Navy, like the last couple of years, I felt very stuck. And I think it was because I felt very controlled, and that I couldn't go further to what I wanted to do, money-wise, or even just like skill-wise, right? And I didn't know what to do, and when I felt stuck, I left, right? And tried to figure out things on my own. Like I left super spontaneous. There was nothing planned. So the younger Nicky would feel stuck and leave and figure it out on the go, right? I think I would say maybe a year or two ago, I felt a bit stuck. And definitely, I would say a bit of last year, I felt a bit stuck in a certain situation. And I didn't run, I didn't go anywhere. But I had to release the power that situation gave to me. So it was feeling stuck maybe because I had certain expectations of how maybe a certain scenario was supposed to be, or a certain situation was supposed to be, and it wasn't happening that way. And instead of leaving the situation, I just released the power of expectations and kind of went with, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm here for support. So I think now I go into a more, if you need me, hit me. But if not, like, I'm just here kind of thing when I feel stuck, which is bad still, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm working on the stuck vibe because one is go and one is a support role, which has an expiration date sometime. I just don't know when.
Is stuck? Do you think stuck people are going to feel stuck because they're relying too much on other people? Like there's a big part of what you're trying to do that relies on somebody else's goal, somebody else's yes, or is stuck
Yes.
just okay?
Yes. I think because I don't have the freedom and I have to rely on someone's red light, green light, it makes me feel that way. Because
Yeah.
let me be and give me a bow if I am wrong, right? If what I'm doing is not working, do that. But if I shoot certain ideas up in the air or feel excluded from certain things, I'll be like, all right, here, I'm not going to leave, but let me fall back because it's not as what it was supposed to be. It wasn't, it was
Right.
portrayed one way and now it's not. And so, okay, all right. So yeah, it's a bit, I'm working on the stuck vibe. I try not to be stuck too much. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Which is crazy, and I hope those who are listening either live or on the replay, you know, I know you get a lot of love where people on social are like, man, this is amazing, and I hope it's refreshing for people to hear that you saying you still feel stuck, like even now from time to time, like there's still a level of stuckness that you kind of deal with, right? Because I think that's real. Like, and I don't know that we ever break away from it completely. If you're independent, you're gonna go through it at least a nice little cycle there, and that's why I added that second piece to it. I said, yo, stillness, right? There's a difference between the two, but I will admit, I think that definitely stuck has, if you're a part of a team, stuck definitely comes from relying on somebody else's green light. But the reason why I say that is also because, and I want to kind of just give some pieces from the assessment real quick. People will often say, well, why would a planner, a strategic thinker, or an analytical mind like an air traffic control feel stuck? When and how does that almost match the same energy of a pilot, right? Or someone who is naturally just on go all the time. And they're kind of rather break the rules and apologize later versus say, wait, am I doing this correctly?
Right.
And the truth is, and I think the part that people miss out on and never really consider is that when air traffic control has a plan, they actually move very similar to a pilot. The only time they're going to stop you is if they have questions they're not clear on the how or where we're going or some of the expectations. But once that's clear for them and they start to really understand the DNA of what's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to be built, they have a clear path forward. I would honestly say, for me, as someone who's a high air traffic control, I feel more of my pilot come out during those times than any other time. I can
makes
deal
sense.
with, I could deal with people dropping the ball from time to time, making mistakes, not feeling, up to the task, whatever. I can deal with all the people stuff. But the delays when we have a vision, that to me is what drives me crazy the most. So it puts me in that position like, okay, now I do feel that physical, almost like I'm in jail because I no longer am in control of my own destiny and we're literally not moving. So the more that happens, it causes me to now start almost like abuse my power. And I've talked about this at the conference where because we're not working on anything, I start thinking about things that I've already crossed off. So I'm like, wait, okay, we're not moving. Is it me? And I'm starting to think about, yo, what am I doing? What am I saying this right? Am I not doing something? And into my head I go, Nick's only causing me to think and overthink. And now I'm walking on eggshells. I'm like, ooh, I want to be super delicate of Nicky's feelings because I think that maybe it's not because, and I'm like, so I've gotten to the point where I'm like, yo, a lot of the stuckness comes from some of those things, delays,
Yeah.
you're waiting on somebody else's green light, you're delayed, or you have surpassed your planning phase, you're ready for action and you can't get moving, so you go back into thinking phase. So it's like you think, you plan, ready for action, you skip action and go back to thinking. So sure enough, something doesn't add up, right? Like it starts to break. So I know that the solution is for sure a stillness, right? And what I've noticed and stillness is kind of what you described, right? It's part of that. Yo, I'm gonna let go. I'm going to work to the level that I have control over, the capacity that I have control over, but I'm going to let go. Now, even with stillness, and after the video, I really want to go back here because there's a level of that in good faith, it's hard to be still if you feel like the expectations are not being met, or if we're better than what we show ourselves to be. It's hard to even operate in that. But I don't know. Is it? Would you define stillness as simply just letting go, like accepting? Oh, okay, average is the reality, so I'm just going to accept that as the norm. So I'm letting go so that I'm not stuck, but I'm finally still. Or is stillness something else?
So stillness to me is not doing anything, right? So in the scenario that I was talking about, I wouldn't even be supportive. I would have fully let go, right? And been content with however the waves move, right? Like losing feeling to a certain extent and just being there to be there. Like those people who say, I just work here, right? Like I just work here. I'm comfortable with just doing that, right? For me, in the scenario that I was talking about, I care still and I'm still active, but to be my true self in that situation, I can't be, you know? And so falling back for me isn't still. I would say, let's say, if I was back at my bank job and just showing up at my 9 to 5, doing things to collect a check and not trying to exceed to get the next position or, you know, try something else to make other people's lives better. Like that's just, I'm just here so I don't get fined, you know, but that's me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, it's tough though. I think that even to that extent, it's very frustrating to show up, you know, to that level where like your insides are dying in the process. Then it becomes a debate of like, okay, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it for me to stick around, even in the process of slowly feeling like I'm losing parts of me? And I think that's when it becomes almost an unhealthy debate of
But
like, again, like inner dialogue kind of stuff.
but I will say there's another definition that I have of still is like a healthy falling back so you could regroup and like execute in a whole different level, right? Sometimes we get really busy with all these random tasks and to do things that somewhat move the needle, but not all the way. And you get very in a routine with that, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to stop and truly be still to clearly see what's the light at the end of the tunnel. And there has to be easier way than doing this busy work over and over again, or possibly waiting for a yes or no from somebody else. Like you have to be still and have an open mind instead of being so involved and immersed in that actual situation. You have to like, okay, let me just chill for a minute and let me reevaluate life
Yeah,
in
that's
this
real.
situation and then come back.
That's real. Yeah, that's real. And I think the reason why that's difficult for most, if not all, is because they think that if they are to step away for a moment, that they're gonna completely lose it all or fall behind. Like, and I think that's a big wake up call for somebody. And it's like, it's the reality check of, yo, your efforts are not wasted, but they're not productive.
Right.
And that's a tough pill. That's a tough pill to swallow, because it's like, are you saying that my best, my all is not good enough? And sometimes, unfortunately, no. And I think that's a gut check for the individual, whoever that is. I know I've kind of had to do it for my own, and almost kind of remind myself, like, yo, don't take it personal. But unfortunately, right now, all of your efforts are not leading to anything good. So although you feel that by stepping away for a moment, you'll fall behind, you're not. You're giving yourself space to figure out how you can be more efficient, how you can focus on the things that matter most, that can actually, which is a crazy thing to believe, but you can do more with less work, right? Like there is a way to do that, but you don't get to that. You don't figure out those cheat codes without removing yourself kind of from what you said, the monotony or those tedious tasks, the busy work, for you to really figure out, well, which of these actions drive the most needle in what I'm doing. So unless you step away for some time to think, to remove yourself from that, you never get it going. And I think that's one of the things that surprises a lot of people. Like, when, at least for myself, when I'm working with clients on the business side of it, of trying to remove them from the business to like what they say, working in the business to working on the business.
Right.
And even a lot of our coaches, they think that the adjustments that we're suggesting to these clients is like a breakthrough technology that has never been released in 75,000 years of history. And it's like, actually, no, it's not.
Right.
It's more reasonable and much more simpler than you even think. And the only reason why, it's because they're so busy head down doing it for so long, they no longer see the pockets of opportunities or the things that are going wrong. So by having fresh eyes to come in, and that's literally what I'm saying we need to do for ourselves. It's do something different to give yourself an opportunity to get a fresh look at what you've done for a very long time.
That's good.
Do you have the discipline, the patience, the stillness to be able to step away from something you've done almost your entire life or years at a time, whatever it is, to step away for a moment and say, okay, how can I do this differently? That's the only way that I'm starting to figure out can really get you unstuck. And I'll just use the word because I see it in the chat, where people say, well, you need clarity, but how do you get clarity if you don't do that, right? Like, how do you get clarity if you continue doing the same thing over and over? So those are some of the things that, even in my own personal time, the last few weeks, I'm like, you'll just rip away a little bit to really start figuring some of these things out, because the frustration is going to leave you with one way, which is to say, I'm out. And it's like, well, what did you do? Like, you quit? You think
Right.
so you think quitting is a solution?
Right.
What's the fun in that?
Right.
So
But because so talk out, because we've had conversations where it's like, you know what, if this ain't it, like if I ain't feeling this, if I feel these particular ways, like it's not that deep to me, right? So in what to you makes it not that deep? Like, because I always wondered that. Like, sometimes we have put so much time and effort in things that, and just in general, not like just what we've done together, but, and to just say, it's not that deep, I'm out, right? Is that like a defense mechanism, or is that like, I could do this all over again somewhere else, and right here just ain't it. The season is done.
Yeah, I think for me it's a safety issue. You know, it's a safety issue because I think the one thing that I'm always up against in my own mind, and I'm not, it would be cool to see if you kind of resonate with this too and others. It's not money, it's not work, it's time. So I've always looked at me like, yo, you have to somehow, and I almost play this competition, which honestly I don't recommend. Like, don't do this. Don't do it because it's not healthy. But I try to beat time.
Right.
Right? It's a very unhealthy habit that I have. But for me, the delays is so like almost self-destructive for me that I say, okay, I'm ruining potential, and the only way out of that is to break free of the stuckness.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I would say it's a safety against time because I understand how valuable time is. And I've also learned from multiple experiences in the past that kind of what E would say with his quote, but if you don't strike an opportunity with a hot iron at the right moment, you can get more growth out of an opportunity if you hit it at the right moment in less time than if you spend a lifetime hitting it at the wrong time.
That's good. That's good.
That's the reality of the situation, Nix. Because I remember back when, you know, I was able to get this whole DACA movement underway and the press coverage and all this other stuff. And intuitively, I knew what I was supposed to be doing. Intuitively, I was like, yo, you need to start having events so you can separate yourself from everyone else. And I had the connects and I had the people. Something happened. I don't remember what it is, but I missed out on that opportunity, and the rest of that trip never went. It like literally all the momentum, everything left because I couldn't keep it going in that moment. And I didn't quit right then and there. Like I still kept pushing it, and to some extent, I'm still like, you know, cognizant of it today. But because I missed that opportunity to really take advantage of it, it slipped away. So now I'm recognizing like, yo, time is so, it's not just sensitive, but you got to have an intimate relationship with it. So I guess to some extent, I have some level of fear or some level of concern, like, man, but if we see it, if we've learned the lesson and we're letting it slip, that's hard to not be frustrated. You know, it's just like, and I don't know that one day the green light will be given, the green or the way it's supposed to be will be presented. So it's like, okay, so what are we doing? You know, so I think that's kind of the conversation that goes through my mind quite often.
I like that. Thank you.
Do you ever think it's a power struggle? Because I actually used that term in a conversation on Sunday, and the way it was kind of received, it was like, well, I can't do nothing about a power struggle, but I do feel that a big part of delay comes from power struggle. Right? Like when delays often come up, it's because I'm looking at the advancement benefiting you more than it does me, or I don't get some of the credit if it advances without me. So I'm going to delay it. You get me? Like I'm going to delay it because I don't want to lose my power, or I don't want my name to fall out of the lights because, oh, that's all you. But
So I've seen situations like that. I don't think, no, that's a lie. I have experienced some of that, right? And in which I just roll my eyes and continue to do what I'm doing, right? But in like the situations that I was speaking on, I don't think it's necessarily like a power struggle or power trip of any type. As far as, I think it's more of trust, right? Trust that you don't have to make the decisions all the time, kind of thing. And I don't know if that's a power situation, but you know, when there's no trust, the whole situation is stuck.
Absolutely.
You know, like you're putting too much weight to yourself, person, ma'am, sir. You're putting too much weight. And the whole point of doing a project with a team is that some of that stress, some of that weight is off of you. And if you keep it on yourself, there are going to be periods where the whole project is stuck. Or one person may feel stuck. And so I don't necessarily think I've seen it become power struggles, and those are just, I think, annoying and immature. But then it kind of unravels later on. But for the most part, the ones that I've dealt with is definitely a trust issue with, for whatever reason. I don't want to assume it's because you want to be, you're going to feel left out, or you feel because your name is on the line, it's should be you making the decisions, whatever it may be, it's very evident that the trust is an issue.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever looked at it through the lens of trust, because I guess for me, the way I look at it is like, why keep them around if there is no trust to begin with? You know, like why give the false sense of hope? You know, like, so again, I'm all for optimism, building people up, actually encouraging people to make mistakes, because I'm the type of leader who thinks that there is no way on planet Earth anyone can develop to their fullest potential if they don't make mistakes. Now, it's even worse to build a culture that punishes mistakes, because that doesn't mean that people won't make mistakes. That just means that people will make mistakes, but they're going to sweep it under the rug so that you don't find out about it. Right. So that's a big no-no. That means that whatever was a $10 problem might be $1,000 problem because late fees were added on it. It's just like, it's just like the bill that you don't pay. Right. It's going to get taxed with late fees and this and this and that. So it could have been very small if you just taking care of it when it happened. But over time, it swells up and becomes cancerous. So I can't even say that I'm the type of person that says, no, you can't make mistakes. No, I'm encouraging you to make mistakes. But for me, it's just kind of almost like a contradiction in a sense, because it's like, wait, why even call it a team if trust is not there, right? Like, why give the false responsibility? That's the part where if we're helping each other to become unstuck, I think that's when it becomes counterproductive, because it's like, no, I'm actually now contributing to your stuckness, if that's a word, right? Like, now I'm actually adding weight to that.
But I think people, when you get on a team, there has to be a level of trust, but I think there is a limit of trust. Like they trust you to get you there, right here, at this certain spot, which is, let's say, I don't know, 60%, right? 60% to the goal. You feel like they could get you there, right? But the 100% that is glorified, the 100% that is the ultimate goal, you may not trust that particular person or that team fully without your full attention or direction, right? You feel that the rest of the way has to be with your leadership and guidance for whatever reason. So there is a level of trust. And I've been in multiple teams that have that kind of issue, where it's like, I know what you're capable of, and you could do this from here, but once you reach here, come back to me. Let me know. Let me know when it's
Right.
finished and we could do this together. I don't need to do this together. I don't. I just did from 0 to 60, and you're not letting me do 0 to 100 because of whatever reason. Now, that's that's on other, I don't know, people, right? But I never understood that of if the point is to get to the goal, if the point is to reach new levels, new revenue streams, all this great stuff, and you 60% let them rock.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. That's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the part that I think I haven't learned how to do. Like that. Oh, okay. All right. I guess, or at least I haven't learned how to do it without it being taxing, right? And I think that's why we're having this conversation around stuckness. But let's transition into that video, man, because if I can just set it up real quick, just because I think that, as we've talked about, just different reasons why people feel stuck, right? Whether you're working by yourself or you're working with a group, or there's just some things outside of your control that are contributing to your stuckness. I do believe that the answer is stillness, but I think this young lady definitely gives us the keys, and she shares something that I was like, okay, hold up. I'm not even going to wait till next podcast to talk about it. Let's talk about it today. Let's talk about it now. Right, because I do think it's really powerful. So yeah, whenever you can, Nick, let's segue onto that.
Got you.
I think sometimes you don't have to tell your story, time will. And I think that that's something that I've lived by. And I think everybody up here has had that moment where they felt like they have to tell their side of the story. And you don't have to. Just put your head down, continue to work, do what's right, be a good person, work hard, give energy, and the world will give back to you. So I think that's my message with all of this is you don't have to yell from the rooftops who you are or what you do. Let time tell, and just enjoy the moment.
Wow, that's so hard. And I don't know why, but I'm just like, yo, that is so, and I mean that both culturally and literally. That's a hard, it's hard. What she's saying is so dope, but it's also hard in the sense that it's so difficult.
Okay.
And maybe you could share your take on this too, Nick, but I think I love what she's saying. Yo, sometimes you don't got to tell your story. Time will.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's probably one of the greatest bars of all time that I've heard right after the you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate bar, because I was stuck on that for a couple of months too.
While.
Yeah, that had me stuck for a minute. But dang, I'm just like, it's so difficult to care so deeply about something and not speak on it.
Right.
It is so difficult because I know that's kind of what I compare it to. She's saying, you don't got to scream from the top of the roof, the top of the mountain. You don't have to do any of that. Just let time tell the story. And I guess my question is dang, how do you do that when you care? And I don't want to pretend to have all the answers here. I literally want us to kind of think about it together. Those of you in the chats and watching, give your take, because there's been a time, or I'm sure there will be a time, when you really care about something, you really want something. There's a deep desire that you have to accomplish something. That's what creates the feeling of stuck to begin with. You feel like you should be further along. You feel that there's something that you want that you can't fathom or bring into your possession. But the advice here is yo, don't even bother speaking on it. Time will. So I'm like, okay, hold up. How do you do that? Because that in its sense seems challenging. I can understand if you don't care about it, then it's oh yeah, whatever. It's not a big deal. I'm not even gonna give it the time of day. But when you really care about something, I'm like, okay, come on now. How do you do that?
I'm struggles with that. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, of course, you always hear the whole put your head down and work. It'll happen. I know, and shout out to my followers. I always say, like, with content, it's just a matter of time once you put consistency in it, right? If you put the work, it's just a matter of time for people to catch on to what you're doing. However, that's very frustrating in times like this, right? It's very frustrating when you see certain individuals who are loud, who are look at me, look what I'm doing, and it gets acknowledged, and I'll be this dramatic, get presidency, right? To where the person who is working, it doesn't happen as quickly as the others, right? Now, you could look at it from a standpoint of, well, it didn't last long. The people who put their head down, the reward is sweeter, the time lasts longer, you're looked about in a different way compared to the microwave kind of vibe, right? And so, to be honest, that's a true trait of patience and maturity for even her and anybody who believes in that. Like, you know what? I don't have to be the loudest. I don't have to say and speak up when everything is done all the time, or when something is accomplished, and say, hey, look at me more than you may look at others. It's trying to have that, the horse view with the viewer, the blockers, and just really stand true to who you are and what you stand for and what you're trying to create or do. That's a whole different level that even myself needs to learn to shut up in certain situations. It's the facts.
Wow. 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 That's rich. Yeah. I mean, and I get it, because I think to some extent, like, as a person of faith, I think it's difficult to, and you start to kind of see where your own hypocrisies are coming out, right? Because it's like, and I don't know, and again, I don't know that everyone wants to live this way because it's tough. Like, a lot of people say, well, if the answers are right there, why wouldn't someone want to look up the information? Like, if YouTube is full of all the information that we need, if Google is full of everything that we might need today, where we might not need money or we don't need this, all you need is will and determination. Why is it so difficult for someone to look for the application or go through it? Well, they have to do the work. Like there's a lot of self-work that comes out into that. So it immediately becomes difficult. So I think one of the things that I've been challenging myself on is, how can you call yourself a person of faith, but you don't have that faith in the future, right? Of like, okay, if it's not happening now, that's okay, right? It's sure to come. Like, you wouldn't still be here, or you wouldn't be still kept around, or you wouldn't still have something to contribute, power, energy, ideas, if it's not going to manifest in the future or develop in the future. Let's not use the word manifest.
Right.
But is it in bad faith to see it not go according to plan now, and not scream at the top of your lungs like, hey, this is broken.
Right.
Hey, this is not supposed to be like this, because you know what I'm saying? Like, is that, which one is it? Like, I don't know.
So like, I hear that, and then I ask another question of, like, if you're supposed to, stay still and work, right? How do you know when to speak up and when not in situations that may be foul, right? Or need to be, you know, like let's bring this to attention, right? But some may see that as, oh, you're asking for results too soon, you know. Oh, you know, you're trying to get praise too, like. But because in certain situations, you want to speak up because maybe something is not being recognized or being overlooked, and there has to be a balance, or maybe there doesn't need to be a balance. There needs to be a balance of like sticking up for what you're doing at the same time, so it's not necessarily a pushover or it gets completely lost. But then on the flip side, what is your definition of being a pushover? Because your definition may be a little bit stronger than what reality or a higher power has for you. So it's like, it's so it's like I want to talk, I'm just protecting, especially for me, being the super overprotective person that I am. Hold on. Who said this? Who that? Like, chill. Like, trust the process. This is supposed to happen. Make it work. But what's the balance?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a delicate situation, man. And that's why for me, like, I'm with the advice that's being shared. Like, trust the timing. You know, for me, I translate that as faith. Be a good person. And I would like to say, yo, that's a definite check mark. Like, there is no pure motives. I don't even, you know, like, I've tried the whole, oh yeah, let me do this because that will give me the greater advantage down the line. So, and I'm like, I don't even know how to do it. Like, I can't even tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it didn't work out. No, it's not that I just don't, like, it's just not a part of my being. So I think it becomes more delicate because of that, because it's a fine line of when to do it and when not to do it. And it's like enough is enough kind of situation. But I think the only thing that I'm landing on right now is time. It's like, yo, can you use this as an opportunity to develop patience and discipline and know that it's just a matter of time? You know, like in those moments of feeling stuck, to know that it is just a matter of time. Can you still show up despite of having that physical hold around you to work your way into stillness?
Right.
That's the only answer that I'm landing on. And I typically take pride in someone who can come up with answers. But for me right now, the only thing that I'm able to land on is like, yo, I think it's just time.
And that sucks for a person who has no patience.
Oh, facts. That's real. That's so real.
None. And it's like, it's funny because I was having a conversation with my mom. I think it was that. She's like, I don't know how you're so patient. You did not get that from me. Like, you didn't get that. Like, how are you so patient? I was like, no, I'm really not patient. I had to learn patience. She's like, no, you can't learn patience. I was like, oh no. You can learn patience. There are certain situations that you have to. Now, there are a lot of stuff I still don't. I don't have the patience for. And so to say, sit down and allow time to pass. Even on that typical going on a personal side, let time heal all. What? No, I don't want to rely on time to heal what is a situation of pain and hurt. There has to be something else. Give me something else. And shout out to those who are not patient and understand how I feel at certain times, right? It's a struggle, but this is where it's only a struggle for you. It's not a world struggle. Like, it's it's a more personal problem. You don't have patience. Okay. That doesn't mean time is going to speed up because you don't have patience. You have to learn that. You have to adjust so you allow the time to then kick in and you're more open to it. Maybe what needs to happen in that situation hasn't happened because you want it to happen so bad that you're not even open to receiving it. It's weird because like once you let things go and you're like, okay, I trust the process, I'm with it. If it happens in this time frame, cool. If it doesn't, I'm here for the whole ride. Boom, it happens. It's so annoying. Super annoying.
Right. But to that point about time heals all, I think that's terrible advice.
Horrible. It's trash.
I think it's terrible advice.
So
and the
tra-
reason
I mean,
why
it's
because
true, but it's trash.
yeah, no, but the reason why I'm saying that is because if it were a true principle, it would apply in all areas, right? So if someone has I don't know, a bullet wound or a bullet is stuck, you're not gonna be like, oh no, you're good. Leave the bullet in there. Time is gonna heal it. You're fine. It's like, no.
No, I'm gonna die. Take this out. No, for
Exactly.
real.
You know?
Like it's bleeding. Like literally, I'm going to bleed to death.
Literally, yeah. So it's like bad advice. I don't know who said that. I think it's time plus other things, right? It's time plus active healing. It's time plus other ingredients that go into that. I don't know what it is, but I do believe that a big part of adulthood and what we will call maturity is that process of relearning or revisiting some of these cliche advices that we've been given to say like, yo, is this really accurate?
Yeah.
Like, can I sit with this bullet wound in my leg and I'm straight? Like the bullet's in here and I'm good. I'm gonna heal with time. It's just like, oh no, that's not good advice. Like maybe I should revisit that. So yeah, no, I think to that point, that's
Maybe it's on
we gonna have
in
to
a
switch that up.
non-physical aspect, like not like health wise or any. I don't know. It's just.
But even with emotions, right? Because like what when you say time heals all,
Yep.
what if my active response to hurt feelings is to suppress? When I suppress a hurt feeling, that doesn't mean it's going to disappear. It's still embedded in my soil, right? It's still embedded in my subconscious. So like whatever comes out at some point, mixed in there is that hurt.
Right.
And I think that's why now everyone sees the benefits of counseling so much, because it's like, oh, you're helping me process this in a healthy way. Like the stuff that I thought was just going to be with me for life and all people are bad because that situation happened to me, whatever. And it's like, okay, that they're calling it healing. It's not like you went to surgery. No, but
Right.
it is a process of renewing because you've been let go. So I don't even think in that format, Nix, that time is the answer.
Well, so even though with time you're going to need guidance, right? But the guidance still needs time. Like just because, and this is from a person who's been divorced and had to go to therapy and all that great stuff and, go through all that. If I didn't allow the time and the guidance to help heal that, at the same time, I would probably still be very crushed, right? But I think also, like, some people will be like, okay, time doesn't heal all, just there's other multiple things, but even those multiple things has a process that still involves time. You see what I'm saying? So I give respect to time. I do. I absolutely do. I hate it for how long certain situations may take. It's like, all right, time plus this plus this plus, isn't it supposed to speed it up? Like, no, if you didn't have this, it would just take way longer. But it's not going to speed it up. It's just, if you went without it, you could still get those results. Just 19 million years later compared to the 18 million. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
It's just trash. It's just all the way trash. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Hey, well, I hope for everyone who rocked with us tonight, I hope you got some value from this. I hope we gave you an opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, see life in a different viewpoint or through a different lens, and just kind of reflect on your own stuff for a little bit, because for sure, I think that there's a difference between the two, and we can beat ourselves up when sometimes we're not stuck, we're in stillness, or the other side of it, right? Where we really are stuck and we just can't figure out why. Like I said, we're too close to the situation. We can't figure out. So I think maybe there is a couple of ways to get unstuck, and it's to get to stillness, right? Allow the time. There are other ingredients that come with it. I know that that's not the answer everyone wants to hear, but it's definitely time plus other things. Yes. Because you can let time pass by and do nothing and say, well, what happened? I thought I was supposed to get to my dreams and goals that way. You said it was time. I stopped, I've been waiting 10 years. Yeah, but what did you do with the 10 years? Right? So it's time plus other ingredients for sure. So yeah, I hope this was a blessing and it was helpful, man.
This was good. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, thanks for the dialogue. No, for sure. This was rich.
I love Isaiah. Still haven't done therapy. Isaiah, do therapy. I mean, it's because I know you. It may help. I love therapy. It's just to talk to somebody who don't know you, and talk to you logical.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, it's tough, but it's so semi worth it. And coming from me, who's wall, I don't know you, I'll give you short answers. If you have the time to ask the right questions, okay, you deserve an answer. I got you. Yeah. We could have dialogue, but no, Isaiah, go look at that, man. Good look.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't say I'm someone who's ever done therapy myself, but I've been fortunate to have some really great friends that allow for that kind of mental gym, if you will, to just kind of yo, okay, go ahead and give me that entire thought real quick, okay, and then what happens? And then what happens? And then what happens? Right. We joke around with asking why 17 times to really help you get to the root of something. So I've been fortunate to have that. So
yeah, I have it tomorrow. I have it tomorrow. You know what I mean? I got therapy tomorrow. I try to make that a once a month thing. Just because for me, and I'm just speaking on me, friends always still want the best for you, right? So sometimes what they think is the best for you may not be the overall best for you, right? So you may need somebody who absolutely doesn't know, who could come with a super clear mind, not knowing about you, caring about you, anything like that, and say, hey, think about this. Not giving you a solution, but think about this, and what would the situation be in this way? And you're like, I don't like you. I don't. It makes sense, but that's so uncomfortable. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. That's true. So, I guess you're right. I don't know, whatever. But shout out to everybody who joined us live, who watched the replay, who shared it, who is sharing on the stories, texting people. We appreciate you. And do me a favor, with the podcast, Nicky and Moose, the podcast, just continue to share, continue to review, especially review, Okay. And just let random people know here and there that you feel it can add value to them. You know, don't send it to everybody, but those people you feel like it would add value to them, go share it. You know what I mean? And thank you, Moose, for this amazing conversation.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for you know what I'm saying? Thanks for making it happen.
You know what I mean? Out here. Anyways, we're out. Definitely go check the podcast. But we will be back same time, I'm hoping. Oh my God, I'm gonna be in Mexico. I'm hoping same time. Hoping same time. Definitely same place. And we're out. You know what we're gonna say.